Thank you for calling this joint hearing on an issue that really is a long-standing problem. Across the country at this moment, there are 784,000 Americans are waiting for their initial disability claim judgment, and 695,000 claimants whose applications were denied and are waiting for hearing on an appeal. Now, given the increase in filings that will continue to come as a result of the recession, the Social Security Administration anticipates that at the end of this year, over 1 million Americans will be waiting for a response to their initial claim. Disability claims will wait an average of 111 days for an initial decision, and appellants, those people who appeal, will wait an average of 442 days in addition to delays in earlier stages. For cases that are appealed all the way to the federal courts, the process takes an average of 1,720 days. If those are just averages, I hate to think what the outliers would be on that kind of a record. When we talk about these disability backlogs, we're talking numbers, but the background information we all have in front of us is full of charts and graphs and hard data. Of course, this data is essential to track progress and maintain accountability, but you always have to remember each one of those numbers represents the lives of a vulnerable human being. Those people appear in our offices on a regular basis asking for help with these claims. These people are in dire need. Interestingly enough, claims reviewers are given the authority to expedite certain types of claims for particularly time-sensitive cases and classes of people such as wounded veterans or cases of financial or medical dire need. To prove dire need, one must suffer such things as unemployment, inability to pay rent, mortgage, or utilities, or meet basic living expenses. I'm hearing that this dire need category is becoming obsolete because so many claimants are facing it. Many are in no position to wait months or even years to receive a decision on their eligibility for assistance, particularly those with limited resources who are seeking assistance from SSI or SSI. Nearly 8 million severely disabled individuals depend on SSI to provide them with a helping hand. It is important to remember just how very modest these payments are. They average less than $500 a month. Disability payments, either through the supplemental security income or the Social Security program, serve as a lifeline for millions. The cash assistance and health care coverage provided to these individuals gives them the help they need to make ends meet. I know that when we hear that the increased funding for SSA and increased focus on reducing the backlog has paid off, and indeed it has. The hearings backlog is down 10% from its peak in December of 2008. But we're seeing a surge in initial claims due to the recession, and we really have to ask ourselves, what will happen to these individuals as they are kept waiting? What do they have to look to fall back on? The Department of Housing and Urban Development reports that captured a snapshot of homelessness in a 3-month period in 2009 showed a 38% increase of newly homeless families over that same period in 2008. More and more Americans are literally being left out in the cold. They may have food stamps, but they're not having a place to cook the food. This committee has worked with our colleagues on appropriations to provide SSA with additional funding so that it may continue to work to reduce the disability claims backlog. And while it is anticipated that the President's budget for 2011 will enable SSA to stay on track to eliminate the hearings backlog by the end of 2013, it would not have a significant impact in reducing the initial claims backlog. Certainly, we cannot expect the agency to perform miracles with limited funding and extreme staff shortages. SSA has operated at an insufficient funding level for a number of years, and we will continue to work with our congressional colleagues and the administration to address that issue. But it's now time for the agency to take some bold steps to reduce the length of time that a disability applicant must wait for a hearing and pursue and evaluate the service delivery methods with measurable data. And I look forward to hearing from today's witnesses on this whole issue. And I yield back to the Chairman.